You love Michigan sports. Red Wings, Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Michigan State, and the list goes on. And you love beer. Who doesn't? What if we mixed the two together? This is State of My Sports. We'll talk everything Michigan sports, like only we do, and then we'll down our fair share of beer from a local brewery, grading the beer throughout the episode. So pop a cold one on your end, and we'll get busy on ours. This is the State of My Sports.
That's right, this is State of My Sports, and this is episode 122. We got 3 football games to talk about. Doesn't get much easier than that. We're going to talk about the Lions' loss, Michigan with somewhat of a statement win. I don't know if that's fair to say. We'll kind of discuss that. Michigan State took care of business before their big matchup here against Miami. We're going to talk about that game, preview the Miami game a touch as well. So that'll be fun. That's basically all we got. Obviously, we're going to have our betting hero picks of the week, our Siciliano's Market, Michigan beer grades as well. And if you guys are watching live, please be part of the conversation. We want to know your guys' thoughts on all the games, what you're drinking tonight as well. Just be part of the conversation. We'll try to read your comments and answer all your questions as well if you guys have any. Before we jump in, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsors that help keep this thing rolling and keeping it free for our listeners. The Hops Brewing Company and Cafe is the official brewery of State of My Sports. Siciliano's Market helps us pick out our Michigan beers for each and every episode. And Mac Web Design helped us get our website up and running. Betting Hero helps us and you get the best promo codes available in the sports marketing world. Which, I mean, if you're not betting on football, I don't know what to tell you, right? I mean,
you're missing out.
I really should be betting on football.
I shouldn't be, according to my picks.
No.
But I actually haven't even bet on one game yet, so I'm kind of surprised. Usually I'm enjoying the betting world. Yeah, we should. We really should. We're going to sign up with a new one, right? Sign up for a new platform. Get free money from Betting Hero and make sure you
make
use that.
It rain.
Exactly. I'm Sam Waltart. With me today we got Ryan Waltart. Micah Smith is actually working behind the scenes. John was not able to make it today. Neither was Kyle, but we're going to keep this thing rolling and have a good time. So we need as many comments as possible because we only got 3 opinions here tonight.
We have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
No games.
We don't get long-winded when we talk about football either.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Not very opinionated with that one.
Only
Ryan,
going to be 2 hours.
Earlier you brought down the background with a sneeze because you were in so much pain.
Yeah.
What in the world is going on with you, man?
That's a good question. I don't know. So over a week ago now, like a week and 3 days, a week and 4 days,
yeah.
I was mountain biking, and there's this area with multiple jumps in a row. So there's like 4 doubles in a row. They're pretty big jumps for me, but I felt pretty comfortable going over them. And I wasn't being dumb about it. Like I was kind of measuring them out. So got the first one down, got the second one down, got all 4 of them in a combo, and had it down to a science. Like here's where I need to take some extra pedals. All right, it's already kind of a long story, but before the last jump, one of the times I was putting in my 2 pedals that I needed to get across that jump, no problem, and my chain fell off as I was going up the face of it, pretty much, and I'm not good enough to adjust on the fly.
Yeah,
especially when I'm in the air, I just like froze up like I don't know what kind of things freeze up, like Han Solo in episode 2, maybe.
Tight,
I don't know.
Right? What'd you say?
Like Han Solo in episode 4 or 5.
Is that a Star Wars?
It's a Star Wars thing, maybe, possibly.
Anyways,
I just like froze up. I didn't know how to react to it, and I went down pretty hard. I got back up. I kept riding. Like it didn't seem like a big deal, and now I've been so sore in my chest ever since. And I sneezed earlier, and every time I sneeze, I want to cry.
Yeah.
Right after.
Make sure you hit that button before you sneeze on the air.
Yeah.
That's all I ask. And don't take down the background.
And I'll take it down. Yeah. If it comes down, it comes down, right?
That's a good point.
The show must go on.
Yeah. Football. NFL Week 1.
Yeah. We're not doing a season preview today.
For the full season?
Yeah.
Like
well, no, I mean,
NFL?
like we've done previews like what? Every
last
3-4 weeks?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Something like that.
Yeah. So it's nice. It'll cut the podcast shorter, I think.
I doubt it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
we got 3. But I mean, crazy week 1. I mean, there was some really big I don't know if upsets is the right word in the NFL world, but some disappointing games for some promising teams.
Yeah, we learned a lot.
The Titans looked awful. I didn't
So
get it.
bad.
I didn't watch it, but like the highlights and from what I read, they looked awful. The Bills lost. I mean, to a good Steelers team.
Yeah. I think people need to remember Steelers were undefeated last year, through like 8 or 9 games. Like, they were really impressive to start the year.
Yeah.
And maybe even more than that. It could have been like
I think it might have been like
11
or
and
12.
0.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So they're a better team than people are remembering.
Yeah, and then Micah's Packers did not show very well either.
They didn't show up.
Yeah, they just.
They showed worse than the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
What are your thoughts on that? Obviously, it's a fun topic for Detroit sports radio and stuff. They love talking about it. But, like, a lot of people were questioning, was Rodgers' heart in it? Like, I don't want to judge somebody's heart.
I've got my opinions on it, but I'd love to hear Micah's take on
Micah,
this.
what did you think about what you saw on the field?
Oh, it was horrible. It was absolutely atrocious, all the way from coaching down to execution on the field. The team, for the most part, is the same as far as personnel goes, and they still have plenty of talent on the team. I think a lack of desire to play the starters in the preseason hurt a lot. Now, how much they should have played in the preseason, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just I don't think that happens again this coming week. I mean, I hope not. For you guys, right, you're right. You hope so, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think you're going to see that same team.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. What were your thoughts, Ryan?
Well, I mean, I did hear that. The announcers kept ragging on the Packers for not starting their players in the preseason and stuff. You know how many teams did the same thing?
Yeah, a lot of teams don't.
Like, they brought up like Tom Brady. Well, if it's good enough for Tom Brady to play, then it should be good enough for Aaron Rodgers. Oh, screw that. There's so many starting quarterbacks that did not play anything. I think the distractions caught up with them. Like, if you aren't sold week one together as a unit, as a group, going into it, I mean, there's something to be said for teams that are together, that are doing this and like-minded, and with Aaron Rodgers and all the distractions, all the way up to the top. I think it probably caught up with them. Now they're talented enough. They're not going to be a bad team.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. Yeah, they're still the front runners for the division.
I just think they were up against a well-prepared team, and they were not.
Yeah, which I didn't think the Saints were going to be that good.
No.
I was surprised of the way they played.
Kudos
they
to
looked really good.
Jameis.
Yeah.
I mean, the man has clearly done work in the offseason.
Did you hear his interviews? He even sounded good in his interviews.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Did you hear what he said?
What?
Yeah. The funny, what was it like?
It was a great quote.
He was like
right.
in a quote. He goes, "Oh yeah, we were well prepared.
Well,
My trainer said something really important, and it got us to think. What did he say?
Yeah,
couldn't remember what he
said.
said.
What did he say? I don't
We
know.
just were really prepared.
Yeah,
it's like, wait, what? It's always stuck with you.
He to me he sounded like he's grown up. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, 2 years ago, this is the guy who threw for over 30 touchdowns and interceptions in the same year.
So credit to the trainer. Sorry, Sean Payton, but
yes, the trainer.
You're
it was
not
a trainer.
important.
Yeah, it wasn't Sean Payton. No, Sean Payton's a good coach.
Yes,
and he gets people prepared. I'm interested to see long term how good they're going to be.
I think they're going to be good.
You think so?
Yeah.
I thought they lost. I don't know. I thought losing Drew Brees was going to hurt more than it did.
I think 2 or 3 years of Drew Brees at his worst really handcuffed that offense, and now with a bigger arm, they're letting it loose.
I think it's going to be impressive to see what they do over the course of the season, given where they were at with their cap space going into the offseason, because it was bad.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think of that. And I don't even know how they got under the cap to that point. Like
they were close to $70 million over, weren't they?
I think so. Yeah. It was insane.
They were they were selling their money. Wait, how does that work? They were selling cap space for money in future years.
Were they really?
No, I don't know.
I don't know how it works.
They had to do.
Sounds like money laundering.
Yeah. So, but other than the Packers,
washes.
what was the most surprising one that caught your eye, other than the Packers team and the Saints? I guess is fair. Like,
I mean, I liked watching the Rams.
Yeah.
Stafford looked good. First throw.
You liked watching that?
Yeah, I did.
I did too.
Yeah, he looks rejuvenated. He looks like he's happy. He even said happy like 3 times in his interviews.
I felt like. So I'm like sitting there watching this and hearing Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels talk. It was Al Michaels, right? I think he's the one that does it with him. And they're talking like like this new guy to the league almost, and like I know so much about him.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like getting offended, and like then they like show this blonde girl in the stands, like there's Matthew Stafford's wife, and it wasn't her. I'm like, nope, that's not her. That isn't her, and I'm getting all flustered and stuff. And then they come back from a break and correct it. I was just like, it was.
Did they even know
tough,
that he had the
man.
biggest infinity pool in Michigan?
They didn't know that.
They
I don't
didn't even
think.
know that.
He probably still owns it though. Honestly, but I bet you
sold
nobody else can afford it.
It's probably a really nice pool.
It is, dude. I've seen it on the
Yeah,
Instagram.
it looks nice.
I guess we'll get right into our beer introductions. It is time to introduce our Michigan beers for this episode, but before we do, I want to remind everyone of our partner, Siciliano's Market. They are simply the best beer store in West Michigan, located on Lake Michigan Drive, right between Grand Valley State University's main campus and downtown Grand Rapids. Wherever you live in West Michigan, it is worth the short drive for what they have to offer. Whether you know what you want or need some help from their expert staff, Siciliano's Market is the best place for that. They not only have a massive and up-to-date inventory of the best craft beers from across our great nation, they are individually priced so you can mix and match to build your own six-pack. They obviously have a great selection of craft beer. They also have specialty wines, spirits, ciders, coffee, tea, tobacco, and cigars. Siciliano's Market also has the largest selection of homebrew and winemaking supplies in West Michigan. We love that Siciliano's Market is part of the State of My Sports family, and it is who we visit to help us choose our Michigan beers for each and every episode. So please check them out and let them know that we sent you. So we're doing something a little different today. Ludington Bay actually reached out to us, and they have their brand new brown ale coming out. It's their seasonal beer. And they wanted us to give it a shot, and I'm like, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
So instead of all of us drinking our own beer, we're just going to all drink this one. We're going to do our average score like we do when we get to do that. But
Nice.
I want to tell you guys a little bit about this beer. So Ludington Bay is obviously in Ludington, Michigan. If you aren't smart and can't figure that out for yourself, I am here for you.
Jeez. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being
That
here.
was directed to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask. So
Got it.
But yeah, we're drinking the James Street Brown. It's the American Brown Ale. It's smooth, dark American Brown Ale with a lacy tan head that drinks lighter than it looks, which I think that's a very, very good description. It's very light for how dark it is, and I love that. Like, that's one thing that I do like about browns. They're full of flavor, but they're easy and enjoyable still. You're not chewing on anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I mean, what are your first thoughts of this beer, Ryan? You like
I've
so
had
far?
a lot of IPAs lately, and it's just gotten a little too heavy. So this is kind of
This is nice for you.
Yep.
Michael, what about you? What are you thinking about this?
So far, I love this brown. This brown is great for fall time. Fall time calls for brown time.
Yeah, so this is going to be available at Siciliano's Market. I think starting tomorrow is what Brian was telling me. But it is 5.2% alcohol by volume and 25.7 IBU. So it still has a little bit of bitter in there, which is nice, right?
Oh, yeah.
I do like the bitter beers. But yeah, this is, so far so good for this brown, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Micah, did you just say fall time is brown time?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
the leaves turn brown.
Yeah.
Is
Did you
what
make that
always
up?
say? Yeah.
Yeah, I made that up.
I think that is brilliant. That
I
might
thought
be
it
the.
sounded silly, to be honest.
I thought so too. That's what I was getting
I
at.
thought it sounded really good
You like
because
it?
like
calling it.
the leaves turn brown and start falling.
All right.
No, brown
and the
ales.
brown beers.
Brown
the
ales in fall time, there ain't
Oktoberfest-
nothing better.
Oktoberfest. I'm not ready for October beers yet. Are you guys ready for October beers yet?
I'm not an Oktoberfest guy.
I'm not either.
No.
Nope.
But we gotta drink a few, right?
And you drink them out of a boot, right?
Yeah, we should get a glass boot.
Well, we had a buddy drink one out of a boot this
Oh,
weekend.
yeah.
That was great.
Sure did.
Trav did pay up on one of his which
Yeah.
bet was that? Was that his Giants or his UCLA one?
I don't know, and
think
it
it
doesn't
was
matter.
Giants
He's got
because-
another bet to pay up
Yeah,
on.
that was got to be the Giants one because I called him out on it, and that was our bet.
Is it? So
Yeah.
Carrie commented and was like, "Wait, I'm late. Where is Micah?" So Micah, you told Carrie you were coming to the podcast. She's like, "I don't see Micah. He's lying to me. He went somewhere else." You
He's at
can't
the
hear his
bar.
voice if you can listen to the
calling in from his. Where are you on vacation?
Oh, I'm in Cozumel.
Cosm. Ooh, that sounds
not
good.
bad, yeah.
But I don't want to drink a brown ale in Cozumel.
No.
Brown, not in Cozumel. Brown. I was gonna try.
That's
to
what you always say.
Kind of gonna try to do something there. Didn't work very well. But before we get into the main topics for episode 122, I want to remind everyone that the Hops Brewing Company and Cafe is open and pouring some of the best craft beer in West Michigan. Their revamped food menu, rotating taps, wine and ciders make the Hops perfect for whatever you have going on, from dinner with the family, late night drinks with friends, and everything in between, DeHops is becoming a staple in the West Michigan restaurant community that we highly recommend to our friends and listeners. Keep an eye out for their new trailer. So if you aren't on our Facebook page, jump on that and look at it. We shared their post. They have a new trailer that they're going to kind of cruise around. I don't know the legal side of where they can pour beer and stuff like that, but
Luckily, that's not up to you.
yeah, exactly. I don't have to worry about it. But they're going to be driving that thing around and pouring beer, so get the DeHops name out there. So if you see it, take a picture, tag them, tag us, all that good stuff. Let them know that you saw it and heard about them on the podcast. They're the official brewery of State of My Sports in 2021, and if you mention State of My Sports, you will get a nice little discount on your first beer. So, Detroit Lions football. This is where, I mean,
Here we go.
It's not going to be fun, but it's definitely worth talking about, right? I mean, it's football. Week 1.
Were you signifying something by crinkling that paper up?
I don't know what I'm doing with it, to be honest with you.
Oh.
But don't forget to transition to the scene. Just trying
Right.
Yeah.
Rook. He's a rook.
It's all right.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
all right.
sorry, guys.
I'm just
I
glad
would never be able
he
to do that.
stepped up, man. I was like, there's no way Ryan would do that. So
Thank you. Thank you for knowing me well enough.
It's official.
I would
You can
do it.
talk now.
Let's talk about the 49ers.
yeah. So the
Let's do it.
Lions lost. You just want to talk about the 49ers, not the Lions?
A little bit. Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
We do have a quick comment. Bob Karen have Arvon Banana Watch. Love these brews. Wow, where'd they get Banana Watch? Did I leave that in your guys' house? Doggone it.
Did you?
It's
I
aging
must have.
well.
I must have.
Jeez.
That's on. Oh man.
So the Lions lost
Yeah.
41-33 to the San Francisco 49ers, where they went down big and were not able to complete the comeback after outscoring the 49ers 23-3 to end the game. So Goff went 38 of 57. That's a lot, man. 38
A lot
of
of throws.
57.
A lot of throws.
For 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a back-breaking pick six late in the first half. That really was the difference in the game. They had a chance to go into the first half down 14-10, but the pick six and 3-and-out, last-second field goal gave the 49ers 10 points in the last 1 minute and 20 seconds. Running game was solid. You want to take over after this or no?
No, I think you're doing great.
Running game was solid before going down big, but ended up with Williams had 54 yards, Swift had 39, combining for 93 yards on 20 carries. It seemed better because I think they started so well
Yeah,
in the game,
exactly.
but then they were just down big after that.
Yeah, I got a stat later on here about that. Basically, they had 93 yards on 20 carries, but they had 82 yards in the first half on the ground.
Yeah.
And that tells you a lot of the story of this game. Keep it going. Keep going.
Yeah, so Jamal Williams was actually the top pass catcher, right? Is that Jamal Williams?
Yes.
that
So
Tyrell?
Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift, and T.J. Hawkins all had 8 receptions.
Wow.
Those were our 3
8
leading
for 56.
receivers.
Swift had 8 for 65, a touchdown, and Hawkinson was 8 for 97 and 1 touchdown. But nowhere to be seen any of the real wide receivers on this team.
Exactly. That's going to be a topic that I think we got to talk about as well. And for me, it just felt like the talent level was worse than I expected, or worse than I wanted to admit.
Yeah, I
think-
want you to break that down. So is there a specific part of the offense, defense? Like, what are you talking about? Are you specifically right now talking about the wide receiver group with that?
No, my brain goes to the defense and how bad they looked and how easily they were picked apart when it felt like they wanted to pick them apart. I don't think the 49ers are as good of a team as I thought, and the Lions looked really bad in the thick of the game. You know what I mean? I think there were a couple plays that changed the dynamic that made it look more like a blowout than it was. But then, like, the comeback seems false. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like a real thing to, comfort me. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't deserve to be an 8-point game.
Well, it's not repeatable. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So we can't just rely on 2 8-point a touchdown, 2-point conversion, the crazy bounce on
Yeah,
the
and then
onside kick, and then another touchdown, 2-point.
Yeah.
Like, we can't rely on that on a regular basis. Plus, then a fumble going into it. Like, it was a little chaotic down the stretch. I agree. I think the linebackers played a big part in this game. You saw San Francisco's linebackers being fast. I mean, they're just like making plays all over the field against pretty good talented guys in big situations. Third downs, they're making big hits. They're jarring the ball loose. They're guarding people out in the slot. They're They played really well, and Detroit Lions linebackers, I mean, nowhere to be seen really.
Yeah,
besides the fumble recovery first play.
Yeah, which that was just a luck of
He
the
just
draw.
grabbed it. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, where do you want to start? Like my brain goes to the fun topics in offense and Goff. That's where I would want.
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to start with Goff.
Yeah.
Okay. So 38 of 57, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns. You look at that and you're like, dang, that better than I thought he was going to be. But I think in the crucial moments of that first half, it seems so stagnant and so difficult for every single yard that they gained that wasn't on the ground. You know what I mean? And it was check down after check down. And I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if it's a Goff issue. I don't know if it's a wide receiver issue. I don't know if it was just trying to learn and get a feel of this, not trying to make that big mistake, pick six, which he ended up doing. Like, it just looked uncomfortable. Which, first game, first half of the first game, I don't want to overanalyze that. But it's basically the concerns that I think we had with Goff were right in front of our faces in the first half of that game, and that's a little disappointing to me.
Especially if you're going to be throwing the ball as often as they were. Now, yes, they were down big. Their running game looked really good early on, but I agree with you. There was just no confidence or daringness to throw the ball past 3 yards.
Threat.
Yeah,
no threat.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And he had time.
He did.
It wasn't like he didn't have time. He's sitting back there watching these wide receivers, and yeah, you can scan the field, but he also didn't look like he was ready to throw to them. And he's a calm guy in general, but you could tell when a play was designed where he was going to his first option, it was in rhythm. He would just kind of dump it down to the first guy. And they tried to do that with the misdirections left or right and with the roll back to the other side. Like those plays are great, yeah, but when the play breaks down, when your first option isn't there, I didn't see him looking for other options down the field ever.
Yeah.
And he's the king of the check down, and that's I saw it all over him. And it wasn't until late in the game when the defense started trying not to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that it's – I know we don't know the answer to this, but is it more of a Goff issue, or is it just the fact that he knows he can't trust these wide receivers to throw a 70-30 ball because – that 70% chance of that the wide receiver is going to get it is actually more of a 50-50. And he doesn't want to continue to throw 50-50 balls his whole career.
Well, I think
all season,
it's probably a little mutual. I don't think you can have a group of wide receivers like this and have the confidence to just throw it up and know that he's going to make a play. So if you don't know how your wide receiver is going to react, like if you don't have a Calvin Johnson or some reliable source of winning the play. Like
Galladay,
you just don't know. Yeah, Galladay, really good contested catch guy. He has no clue with these guys. So part of it is him learning what his wide receivers are capable of. But my opinion on this is that this is more of a Jared Goff issue and not a wide receivers issue. I guarantee you if there was a good quarterback that had confidence to throw the ball down the field time after time, I think these wide receivers would stand out and we learn more about them. And Goff does not give them that ability.
No, I don't want to say that you're flip-flopping at all because I'm trying to remember exactly what you said about Goff. Did you kind of go into it with a little hope that we would get the Goff that was successful? Or is it or are you kind of seeing what you saw and being like, yeah, it's not. Like I guess where were you before this game and then where did it change? Or is this kind of what you expected?
It's kind of what I expected. Goff's strength is throwing to open receivers and hitting them in stride so that they can keep running. That's his strength. So he's not the Matthew Stafford type to throw it down the field and
throw a guy open.
Exactly. He's not going to throw back shoulder down the sideline 30 yards. You're not going to see that out of him on a regular basis. So he wants the receiver to be open and lead him and then allow him to run after the catch. That's always been the Rams wide receivers. They in the last, I don't know how many years, they lead the league in yards after catch. And a lot of times people say that that's because of their talent after. And I think it's more to do with the play calling and Jared Goff style throwing to them. I don't think you're going to see those numbers with Stafford and those wide receivers.
Yeah, I don't want to throw in the towel on this guy yet in like this offense and the wide receivers or anything. But it was my biggest fear, I think. That it was I had some hope because I'm a Lions fan and it let me down so fast. I mean, you were probably saw me. I was detailing my car before the first half. I was just out. Like, my car hasn't been cleaned in 2.5 years. I'm like, it's time. So I'm like,
wasn't it raining and you were just like wiping off the rain?
Yeah, that's what I did at night. I washed my car.
Did it again?
I watched the outside of my car when it was raining.
You're really watching your pennies, aren't you?
I was so frustrated, man. I told myself I wasn't going to let this happen to me this year, and in game 1, here it is. And game 2 is going to do the same thing to me because, I mean, if it was anybody else other than the Packers, like, I wouldn't care as much. But now that it's the Packers, I'm like, wait, there's a little hope, you know? And I'm gonna go into that game and be like, I want to win this game.
So Goff, I'm not saying that Goff is forever going to be bad. So, and that's why it's a little bit of a combination. I don't think he's the answer. He's not ever going to feel comfortable throwing the ball down the field. It's been too many years for him doing that. He just doesn't do it. It's not his type of quarterback. He just doesn't do it on a regular basis. But I also think he's not that he's not confident, but he's confident in not losing the game. He's confident in his checkdowns. Mm-hmm. And he's not going to be a guy, to look and scan the field 20 yards down the field and throw somebody open. That's not his style. So he needs to understand who his wide receivers are a little bit more before he can start doing that and branching out a little bit more. I want to see that early on in the season. I want to see him take some chances week 2, 3, and 4 and not just be complacent with getting 3 yards.
Yeah, I'm okay with interceptions. I'm okay with difficult throws because we need to put pressure on him. We can't. I can't watch this all season long. I can't watch what we saw on Sunday all season long. It was very frustrating for me, and I know as a Stafford guy, it's probably going to be tougher for me than others. But like, that was boring. That was just. I don't need to get into it anymore. But, all right, you brought up his protection and how solid it was. So kind of going back to, what was it, Thursday or Friday, the rumors came out about Decker, how he might be missing the game because of a hurt finger to hand injury. He might be missing 2 weeks. He got put on the IR. I think it's 6 or 8 weeks. Is it 6 weeks?
I think it's 6.
The 6-week IR? Yeah. But anyways, that opened the door to Sewell, who people questioned him on the right side, his how good he was doing and all that kind of stuff. And now do we move him over to left? Do we let Nelson take left? What do we do on this offense line? Anyways, they decided to move Sewell to left tackle. I thought he looked very, very good for who he was going against. Yeah. What were your thoughts of him?
Well, that's the key. It was up against Nick Bosa.
One of the best defensive lines in football.
Bosa's a stud. I mean, he got injured last year, but you cannot deny his talent, his ability to react. He's the ultimate reactive type of pass rusher. So he can go around, he can go in the inside, he can spin, he can use his hands. And Sewell was there. You saw maybe a couple times where he was fighting to stay in there, and he even got knocked on his butt.
He did
a couple times.
Yeah,
but he was in there fighting, and he played so well. I was so proud of that guy. He crushed it.
Yeah, I was. He looked comfortable. He looked balanced. He looked like his feet. He looked like his footwork was back.
It looked natural.
It did, and it was great to see. Look, not a Pro Bowler, not a Pro Bowling effort or anything like that. Not going overboard, but he looked really, really good.
He was awesome. The only sack he gave up, it was after Goff rolled out to the left.
Yeah, that's right.
And then held it for another. It was like a 9-second play. Like you can't put that on your tackle.
Yeah. I thought Nelson looked bad at right tackle.
He was not good.
So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why we cut our backup.
Yeah, Crosby, right?
Crosby, yeah. Tyrell Crosby.
That's very, very confusing. So I mean, I know it's early. We don't need to make this decision now. Now that all's said and done here, we have Sewell. I don't think you take him away from that left tackle spot when it's time to when Decker comes back. I don't know the answer of what to do exactly. Gun to head, what would you do? Like, what do you think you would do in this situation?
I would understand his natural ability at left tackle, and I would put Decker back at left tackle and move Sewell to the right side again.
Right tackle?
I am perfectly fine with challenging a rookie his first year, especially when his comfort zone was just confirmed that week 1. And so if he plays well the next couple of weeks at left tackle, and Decker comes back, challenge the kid. He's got confidence. See if you can throw him to the right side. Not to say he has to stay on the right, but what, like year 2, if you've played on the right, but your natural position's on the left, that's only going to make you better. It's going to make you more balanced. It's going to make you better with your hands, one way or another. And maybe some of his weaknesses will be worked on because it's a result of that. So that's my thought process is this is a strength of the team. Keep it a strength of the team.
Yeah.
And then let the young guy figure it out and get all that extra. Well, he's gaining the confidence now. So when he goes back to the right, I think let him grow. It's going to be a growing experience for him.
I think that's definitely a good way to do it. And I'm not saying that's the wrong way. In my head, I'm like, all right, so Decker has a hand injury. He can do pretty much anything other than stuff with his hands. So you have 6 or 8 weeks to start changing that guy's footwork to the right side, get used to that, and I think he could do the same thing that you're saying Sewell could do. Now,
that's true.
Doing it for a younger guy, developing just his overall ability, I agree with you. Go with the younger guy. But in this situation, I don't know. Like I think that's another way you could look at it.
You can see, I mean,
Or
if
you
Taylor
could
Decker can do it, if he can do it, but he's never
willing to.
He's
as well,
never had the need to do it, right? He's always been on the left side.
I'm not sure if he played right side at all at Ohio State. I'm not positive. When he was young, he might have, but I mean that's something
we should look into that. No, it is an interesting thing to watch moving forward, though, because Sewell obviously being the anchor, the first pick of this new regime, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to them, his development and growth. So if he's the future there, they could just say, "Hey, it's yours. Take it away. You're the best here. You're confident. Like we're gonna play into that confidence."
Yep, I think the pass blocking looked solid, but I think the run, the offensive line and the run game was very, very good.
It was,
and that's
you
what
could
will
say
make
elite.
That's what make. Yeah, I was just gonna say that's what will make this running game and the offensive line is elite. Is when you start getting that push and creating holes the way that they were again against a very good defensive line that knew you were gonna run the ball or do checkdowns.
Yeah.
So they were able to stack the box, and they were still getting good chunks. You know, you weren't getting the home run hits or anything, but
where
there
were
was
they
a couple
running?
20-yard runs.
Where were they running?
It was more like right between Jonah Jackson and Sewell, wasn't it?
It was left side. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were pounding the left side the whole time.
And now they did have a couple
rewatched.
that they moved Sewell actually to the right side. Like that was, I think, one time.
Yeah.
Which is cool to see, I guess.
Well, he's
But
athletic
they
enough
were
to
running
move.
him. Yeah.
And Jonah Jackson pulled a couple of times, and they got to the second level. They're blocking linebackers. Like it was really awesome to see. And you also saw the talent of the running backs. They could make people miss. They could get to the next level, put some big hits on some safeties with Swift there. That was really good to see.
So Swift and Williams combined for a total of 93 yards on 20 carries. Again, the 82 yards in the first half before they kind of went down big was and that number might not be completely accurate. That was just kind of, I went through the numbers last night, and I think that's what I tallied, but I'm awful with math, so I'm probably way off. But at least it was somewhere around there. The majority of the yards were in the first half when the game was close, and that is very comforting because if you can have a running game like that, 82 yards in the first half between two guys like that, you're going to stay in games a lot better than we actually did. You know what I mean? We deserved better heading into that first half, and it was because of our running game. What do you think about the two-headed monster there that we got with Swift and Jamal Williams?
I loved it. I thought Jamal Williams was perfect for that attack. I thought he was the number one, which I really actually liked seeing. I liked seeing that he was able to be the main guy, especially early on in the game, and then let Swift come in and be the lightning bolt.
Yeah. And he was. And it wasn't necessarily like so Jamal Williams was getting the chunk yards on the ground. Swift was kind of consistent, but then the passes too. Like he was catching the ball out of the backfield. Swift looked great out of the backfield catching the ball.
Williams did too.
He did have a drop, but I don't want to overanalyze it.
Yeah, his second effort though, Jamal Williams, I think he just set the tone for the team, and this is exactly what Micah told us about. He said we were going to like him. He said he was going to become a fan favorite, not because of just his personality and his like the way he just like shines on the camera and stuff. He's a good guy. He's a funny guy, but also because of how hard he works, and you could see it. Like he just did not want to go down.
Yeah, and that's exactly what a young guy like Swift will respond to. He's not getting. Jamal Williams didn't come in here and get carries because of his name, like Adrian Peterson or something along those lines, or a guy that they don't want to give up on yet because he was somewhat of a high draft pick. You know what I mean? Like This guy comes in and he's working just as hard, if not harder than Swift, to do that because he's not that name. He's not the high-end draft pick that deserves to get carries. He's in there working and earning every single one of his touches.
I think it's a really valuable thing to have the way the Saints have done things, which I bring that up because of Dan Campbell's background with the Saints, but with Alvin Kamara, the main talent in the running back room, he's not dominating the carries. He's not dominating the touches. You still had
it was Ingram for a while. Latavius Murray as well.
Latavius Murray, I mean they have gone through the two back thing. They specialized in that. They dominated with that and taking away and not making one back a full workload over the course of a season and get completely worn down by the end. I like that idea. I think Jamal Williams is a great second fiddle in the first primary role, which is really cool.
What do you think of the defensive line? I was a little underwhelmed by it. I don't want to overanalyze it really because, I mean, it was their first time together, but I was disappointed with the defensive line.
I liked what I saw out of 54. What's the rookie?
The numbers are throwing me off now, man. I have such a hard time with the numbers.
I'll get it.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks.
So 54 third. Inuzirike?
No, Inuzirike is second round pick. The next Aleem McNeil. I really liked what I saw about from Aleem McNeil. I think he's going to be a really, really good defensive tackle for a long time. Like he just looked like he fit already. He's got the NFL body. He is a large human being right now. He's super strong. He didn't get pushed around. He held his own. He could have done a little better. Yeah, I think some running backs ran through his arm tackles. Like if he got some leverage up front and then you throw your arm out, that's one of the things, the two gap system with the 3-4, that's one of the things you're relying on those defensive tackles to do is be able to hold a block or hold off a block while tackling with your arms.
Yeah.
And he missed a couple of those, but he was in the right spot. He didn't get dominated physically. And so that was what I saw from this group. But I also think this is what I expected. They're not athletic enough on the ends to always beat tackles. So what do we plan on seeing from them? Maybe less pressure than a normal defensive line, but balanced and being able to cover their zones.
And then what do you think about the linebackers? You already brought them up as a disappointment.
Just disappointment overall. Yeah, I think they were not very physical at all. I think they missed a lot of tackles. We relied on Tracy Walker at that 10 to 15-yard mark all along the game, and he did a good job of making those tackles, but you do not want your safeties consistently making tackles in the running game.
Yeah, because that's when they'll just beat you up top.
And that's exactly what that was, and it was a sign of our linebackers not being physical in their presence and hitting those gaps.
Obviously, we'll get into the Okuda injury, but before he got injured, what did you think of Okuda and Warrior? I thought Warrior looked very disappointing. I have a hard, like I've said this many times, I have a hard time watching and being like, it was a Warrior's fault. I don't understand if somebody should be helping him. That stuff is so foreign to me. But I noticed that he was getting picked on, I think, if that's fair. And that's concerning. Just the corners in general were disappointing. Maybe.
I'm going to have a different opinion on this than I think you're going to hear on Sports
Most
Talk
people?
Radio.
Yeah.
I rewatched every single offensive or defensive snap of this game. I watched Jeffrey Okuda. I watched Warrior, and Warrior was not very good. He wasn't the best in the first half, but Jeff Okuda, I'm telling you, he played a really good game. And I have heard it from several different radio hosts about how badly he played, and they're talking about one play.
Yeah.
They didn't watch.
You've kind of brought that up several times.
Yeah.
Yeah, one play seems to be his downfall.
And they clearly did not watch the game because he played a good game. He had some pass breakups. He was not picked on. He was barely targeted. He was involved. When the famous video of him getting yelled at on the sideline, that was because he didn't join in a running game. Like he didn't stop the run, one of the plays. So on that touchdown run, he got caught on the outside. He was setting the edge. When the edge guy did not do that, when the linebacker missed his tackle, they were relying on him to make a tackle. He went to the outside and got beat to the inside.
Okay.
And so, like, that's what he was getting yelled at. He wasn't even getting yelled at because of a pass breakup or getting beat down the field. Like, to me, he looked fast. And we can get into how disappointing it is moving forward. But that one play, he was in a perfect position. He just didn't turn his head around.
Yeah.
He even like watched it and tried to block it with his hands. And then it was actually a bad throw and a good reaction to come back to the ball. And he got beat. As a cornerback, my goodness, that's going to happen.
So obviously the injury.
Yeah, the injury.
So ruptured Achilles. I don't know if there's a difference between a torn Achilles and ruptured Achilles,
I don't
but
know
that
either.
sounds
Is it a partial tear? Is that
awful. I have no idea, but out for the year. Year 2, down the drain already.
Yep.
And that sucks for his development.
Sucks for this defense.
It sucks for the defense, but in my head, it's more like I wanted to. He was the guy that we were going to learn a lot about this year,
Yeah.
and now we don't. We don't know, and now we don't know if that's going to be a hole heading into the draft. We don't know if that's going to be a hole heading into free agency. I don't know if we can trust a guy coming off an Achilles injury, and I don't know if he can play in this league for 18 games or 17 games.
I agree.
And that sucks for being a third overall pick. And where this organization's at, it only hurts him. I feel awful for him. I feel awful for the team. That really sucks that he's gone. But it opens the door for the was it the 5th round pick?
Melifonwu.
Yeah, Melifonwu. Is that
that
right?
it?
It's close enough. We'll learn it when we need to.
Iffy.
Yeah, Iffy. That's it. He's the one that's going to get these snaps, right? Or are they going to bring someone else in? Obviously, time will tell.
I think there's a Price, right? AJ Price, is that his name? Another rookie,
Okay.
converted safety to cornerback. I mean, this coaching staff knew that we were thin at cornerback. We still got rid of a few veterans that they just didn't like how they were playing, and they put it on a young crew. And then the worst thing happened. Your number 1 cornerback goes down in week 1, and I didn't even see the play.
I honestly didn't either.
I couldn't pick it out. I didn't see what happened. It's so disappointing because, again, I'm looking at that game saying he never got beat. He had the touchdown against him. That was just, to me, those fluke plays happen. Like cornerbacks, you can get beat. It just happens on a regular basis. It's easier to be a wide receiver in this league. So to me, he played a really good game. And it was really good to see because I wasn't expecting a lot from him.
Yeah.
And he looked fast and he looked confident. And then this happens, and this is exactly like you said. This was the key year for him and for the fans to see how he develops and know what we have moving forward.
To wrap up the Lions talk, what was your biggest positive out of this game?
My biggest positive.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to go with the running game, personally. I really, really liked what I saw from that. But I think it can kind of piggyback on the offensive line too. So.
Okay, so I agree with both of those. First of all, my biggest positive is going to be this coaching staff,
Okay.
and it exactly what Dan Campbell said in his opening speech that got super famous and is now, like the source of a lot of jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
Everything that he talked about getting knocked down and behind and all this kind of stuff, but we're going to chip back. We're never going to give up. We're going to keep going. We're going to bite some kneecaps. You're going to knock us down again. And guess what? We're going to claw our way right back. And that's exactly how they played throughout that game.
It was.
And I just think not only that, but the calls throughout the game showed confidence in his team.
Yeah, I mean,
early on, the fourth down
The fourth
calls.
down twice.
Yeah.
I think the first 2 drives there was a fourth down.
How many
call, right?
fourth downs did we go for throughout the game? 5?
I think it was 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
think we were
that
2
to
for
me,
5 or something like
that's
that.
me says, hey, guys, no, we're trying to win this game, and I trust you guys to make it happen.
How early he did it was the key part for me, especially that first one, the one that they didn't.
Jamal Williams
slipped and fell. But man, the fact that he was just like, go, we're doing it, and then the second time came up, they were way closer, and he was just go,
Yep.
we're doing this.
I know.
I loved it. I mean, if we're fighting for a playoff spot and like then I'm gonna be
then we're like, hey, we're 1 win away from, or 1 loss away from losing this.
yeah.
thing.
Then
Like,
I'll go back and be
don't
like,
be
well,
dumb.
we went for it there. You should have got the 3 yards.
yeah,
or
but
3
we're
points.
not a good team.
But-
we're not here to win games. So let's go for it. Let's get a culture down.
But we are here to win games. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
exactly.
But
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not here to not lose games. You know what I mean? Like, they're not afraid to lose. I don't know if I said that right, but they're not afraid to lose.
Yeah, they're
And
not.
I love that.
They're not making their decisions based on what they're supposed to do that they
Yeah.
read in a book one time.
fear of what people say about them and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Micah?
Okay. maybe this becomes a new topic every single week. What's your kneecap rating for this game?
Oh, that'd be fun.
How many?
The
kneecaps?
grit, the resiliency, that blue-collar work ethic. What kneecap rating would you give this game?
How many kneecaps in Campbell's soup?
Yeah.
Oh, kneecap soup.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being 10 kneecaps.
So I would say 6.5.
6.5 kneecaps.
I love what they did like later on, but I also don't. It felt like a mirage to me, and it felt like, yeah, they didn't quit, and I love that, but they also weren't very hard nosed in certain points of that game, and that was kind of disappointing. So that's why I didn't go too high personally.
I'm going 7 kneecaps. I'm thinking I even when Okuda was getting yelled at on the sideline, again, that wasn't his fault that running back went out to the edge and scored the touchdown, but they said, no, this is our expectation for you to be physical, for you to go make that play, make that tackle, and that's our expectation moving forward for the rest of the year. So coaching staff, hats off, 7.
If it's craft beer in Michigan sports, we may not be the authority, but we love both like a fat kid loves cake. This is State of My Sports.
Let's talk about some Michigan Wolverines football. You guys down for that, Micah? You excited for some Michigan Wolverines football?
I always am.
All right, so they ran it on the now 0-2 Washington Huskies, 31-10.
You can
also,
say ran it up.
Brian from Ludington Bay, who dropped off the beer for us today. Thank you again, Brian. Is actually a Huskies fan. He was at the big house for the very first time.
Oof.
And he said that people were really nice to him, so that's good. And I'm going to be nice to him.
Was he lying?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. He seems like a nice guy, though. So, all right, the running game again, led by Blake Corum and Hassan Haskins. Corum ran the ball 21 times for 171 yards for 8.1 average. Haskins had 155 yards on 27 carries for a 5.7 average. Corum had a 67-yard touchdown, 7-yard touchdown, and 4-yard touchdown. Cade went 7 of 15 for 44 yards. More on that here in a bit. And the defense was dominant, allowing only 50 yards rushing and 293 yards through the air, but had 4 sacks and 1 fumble recovery. They dominated up front on both sides of the ball, and that's one thing that Harbaugh has said he's wanted to do since day one, and he did it against another Power 5 school. And I don't want to get into right away how good or how bad Washington is because we don't know. Yeah, they lost to Montana, but they're talented. They have the talent, and they have the beef. They have the recruits, and they have what it takes to be successful, whether it happens or not. We'll see. But dominating the way you did against a Power 5 school is always a good thing. Don't want to overlook that.
100%.
Defense was not their weakness either. The question mark with Washington going into this was their offense.
Yep. And they have Giles Jackson over there, don't they?
Sure do.
Yeah, they do. For now, he might want to leave.
Yeah,
here in a
come
bit.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't let him back. I was actually listening to 971 The Ticket today, and they had the interview with Cade.
Yeah, how'd that go?
And there was one of the guys asked, he goes, "So Giles Jackson, did you get a chance to talk to him after the game?" And it was just like silence. Nope.
Oh, really?
And they're just like, okay. It was awkward, but like
Awesome.
you could tell the way he answered that question. He's like, yeah, we did not exchange pleasantries.
That's one of those things where it's like, what's the best way to make friends and bond when you're in school growing up? A teacher that you mutually hate.
Right. So I want to start with Corum Haskins, right? Very, very great. Another dominating performance from them. Great to see two guys getting the workload here. There was a time that they had 16 straight running plays.
16 straight?
Yeah. Which is, I mean, cool that you can do it.
Is that it? He passed it 15 times.
So we were watching the game together. Mike and I were about losing our you-know-whats.
We were both on the same page.
Downfield. Ryan, you were trying to talk calm, or you're just trying to egg us on. We don't really know.
I don't even know.
Oh, he was totally calm, cool, collected.
He's like, no, this is good. This is good. All right.
Yeah,
So I
loved
think,
it.
do we just want to move right down to the fact that they didn't throw the ball?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think? All right.
I don't think they threw the ball.
You know what I thought Saturday night
All right.
because I was upset.
All right,
He
let's break this down. Yeah.
7 passes on 15 attempts for 44 yards.
Not only that, but 3 of those pass completions were to Blake Corum for 11 yards, and one other one was Hassan Haskins for 0 yards. So that means the wide receiver group, Cornelius Johnson, A.J. Henning, Mike Sanderstill, totaled a grand total of 33 yards.
Blocking, and blocking.
3 receptions, 33 yards,
Wow.
which was all on one pass play, by the way, Cornelius Johnson. One,
Okay.
because Sanderstill was 1 for -1 yard, and A.J. Henning was 1 for 1 yard.
All right. I went into this game saying, just win. Just
Right,
win. That was all I cared about. And on paper, yes, that's all I care about. They won the game. The way they did it, I don't care because 2 weeks from now, nobody will remember how they beat Washington 31-10.
Now, that was my argument. That's how I was talking to you guys at the time.
And
right?
I think we do get that. We get that. We talked about it before the game, but at the same time, it felt like an opportunity. And this is a selfish thing as a fan, probably. I want to know that we're going to be okay without Bell. I want to know that Cade can make these throws to someone other than Bell without him there. And I thought this was an opportunity to show little old me that it's going to be okay. And I don't know that it's going to be okay.
No.
And I won't know it's going to be okay until we're in the fight against, let's say, Rutgers or Wisconsin.
Now, to be fair, I don't think that was the game plan because Ronnie Bell was out. I don't think that was the drive to go all run or mostly run, however you want to say it. But something that Ryan made me think of when I was slightly inebriated. I'm apparently inebriated
there?
right now. However, okay, so Ryan goes, why do you think they're doing that? And I said, I don't know, but to be honest, I do know that Washington's secondary is really, really good. So the fact that Michigan was able to choose outright to run the ball and ran it down their throats for 4 quarters straight, who has that luxury just to choose one offensive side or the other, going pass or run, and then make it work like that? Because not that you're scared of the secondary or scared of your rush defense, but the fact that they made it work when they wanted to make it work was impressive.
I agree. It's impressive. But this is not the way college football is successful right now.
No.
It's not.
No.
You need more. And again, selfish me, I want to know that we can. I love the fact that we can run the ball. Like that's going to become very
Right.
very valuable in the big games. It's just as valuable in the big games as a good passing game. But now, like, we could have tried a little bit, right?
Okay, I think you have to keep this in perspective. Week 1, you were scared going into Western Michigan,
Yeah, I was.
and then we were looking at Washington, thinking, okay, that's a likely loss. That would be awesome to win. We were not thinking, I hope we show really well in a 31-10 blowout. Like, that was not even part of the conversation 2 weeks ago or last week. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't even considered. So we had an injury. But what did we come back and do? Washington's strength was their secondary. So what did we do? We attacked them at their weakness.
Yeah.
We didn't even let them show their strength. And so this team not only, I think, found an identity, which is running the ball, being physical, and looking at their potential Heisman candidate at some point with Blake Corum, but this is also their strength, Michigan's strength. We know it's their strength. The running back room didn't even play Donovan Edwards. This group is stacked. They're really, really good. And the offensive line wanted to go hit people, so we let them go hit people. And it worked really well with no risk with interceptions or anything, so we dominated them. So now going into the next 2 weeks, we have what? Northern Illinois, followed by Rutgers. We have 2 weeks right now with all the practices in between to get this passing game sharpened up, sorted out a little bit. And if JJ wants to get mixed in here and there, let's throw him in. I'm not saying that we can't do that, especially after this last game. But this was not about trying to give somebody confidence. This is about giving the team as a whole confidence. And there's no better way to do that than manhandle another team and assert your dominance whenever you wanted to do it.
I like how Ryan pointed that out, because to be honest, you could really look at it as the offensive line getting their reps in against a Power 5 team, where I think a lot of us fans, that's one of our concerns. If you're a Michigan fan, is the offensive line, and they 100% got their reps in the Washington game, and it came to the point where it was almost tempo too.
Yeah,
it's not just take our time, kind of line up, and we're gonna pound the ball. No, it was up tempo, and the offensive line, Corum and Haskins, got a serious workload.
They were dangerous. It's not like this was running down their throats for 3 to 5 yards at a time.
No.
They were on the brink of breaking it. If they didn't break it, they were on the brink time after time. Like Blake Corum was a weapon every time he touched the ball.
Yeah.
Hassan Haskins is very difficult to bring down, and they knew it.
One thing that I loved about the offensive line is it wasn't just pounding forward. It was like they were like, I rewatched the game last night, and they're like, and kind of a breaking down the offensive line stuff. There was guys like moving from one side to another. There was guys pushing. There was guys pulling. It was like they were it wasn't necessarily just they were dominating these guys. They were putting a hole wherever they wanted to.
It was creative.
They were creating the hole everywhere on this line. Wherever they wanted to, it was, all right, we're going to have a hole right behind our right guard this time, and this is where they're going to run, and that's where they did. And that was very cool to see.
That's funny that you bring that up, because I was reading an article about how they wanted to hit the C gap.
Okay.
They were all about the C gap later in the game, and that's what they did. They just told that offensive line, we're going to keep hitting the C gap, and that's what they did.
What do you say, Ryan?
This reminded me of the San Francisco 49ers 2 years ago, where they were winning playoff games with throwing the ball 7 times. And people were saying that's not sustainable. And it's like, do you understand how creative this running game is? You understand it's not just ground and pound. It's also creativeness to get people in space to make plays and to give them to work towards your advantage. And I think I saw some of that. I'm not praising the play calling from the passing point of view. I'm not saying that there's nothing to be worked on. I think this passing game can improve greatly. I don't think it's as bad as what they showed against Washington.
Okay.
But I also think we have some time to figure that out now.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that Carrie just commented on was she said, I was still happy with the fact that we held them to 10 points. That's not nothing. And I agree with that. I think
kudos to the defense.
Washington's offense is a big question mark, I think, especially with what they did against Montana, now against Michigan. But still, they dominated. Michigan's defense absolutely dominated. They were lucky to even get 10 points. Rewatching the game last night, it was like, wait, I guess that was a kind of a garbage time touchdown when they got to that 7 in a lot of ways. So they dominated that game, and that's comforting. It is. Aiden Hutchinson looks like
3 of the 4 sacks.
He's
right.
Yeah, well,
credited
I think
for
he got 2.5.
Oh,
Yeah,
2.5. Sorry.
But
Upshaw had one with him.
Okay, and then but yeah, he also had three other tackles as well and another assist. But dude, this guy is slowly becoming one of the better defenders in college football.
He would have been a first-round pick last year.
Yeah.
If he would have come out, him and Kwity Paye would have both been first-round picks. Like, the secret's, it's not a secret.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about it. He's that good, but he looked like a man out there. He looked like an NFL defensive end against a bunch of college guys.
So I was watching Monday Night Football last night. What's the guy's name? Max Crosby, is that his name? Mad Max, they call him for the Raiders.
Raiders, yeah.
That's exactly what he reminded me of. He was just out there dominating, just didn't stop. And that's what I remember seeing with Aiden Hutchinson. It was just like, this guy is dominant. He can dominate every snap that he wants to.
I liked seeing him around the outside. I liked seeing him when he faked outside, went inside. He actually reminds me of Nick Bosa, the way he moves around and uses his hands and arms and that athleticism. Even if it's like a little bit slow moving sometimes, he covers so much ground because he's huge. He's a huge human being.
When you watch him and he gets an offensive lineman or a tight end off their balance, he gets them up really high and starts pushing, almost tipping them over.
Yes. He gets leverage like nobody else. Yeah. I think this defense in general was it was fun. It's just been fun to watch so far because they're flying around the field. And I think, Micah, you said it in the middle of the game, like there was one tackle where there was 4 other guys who jumped in and just like threw their body with reckless abandon in there. and it's like, we don't remember seeing that last year. We don't remember seeing the energy, the hype, the gang tackling, the guy from the safety position sprinting in to help on a running play when 3 bodies are already there blocking him. Like you're seeing collective understanding of how important it is to fly around the field and make plays. And I think guys like Brad Hawkins has been awesome. Mm-hmm. I think Vincent Gray has actually looked really good, which will, maybe he might get exposed here and there against better competition. I like seeing DJ Turner out there this time as opposed to 0 snaps last time around.
What do you think of Josh Ross?
Josh Ross played a really good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it was one of his better games, I think.
It was.
As a Wolverine.
I still think he might get exposed sometimes for not having the natural strength that other linebackers have. But, man, they're utilizing his speed so much better this year than in previous years because they're doing a lot of delayed blitzing with him. They're putting him on tight ends in coverage, and they're not just using him as a big 250-pound linebacker. They're saying, no, wait, hold on. You have a strength here with your speed and your understanding of the game, and they're playing to his advantage.
He is being used similarly to Devin Bush.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Letting him attack.
Yep. And Rod Moore, actually. Rod Moore had a good game. He had a mistake here or there, but Rod Moore wears 19.
Okay.
Playing a good game. He did well. Some pass blocks, and I think it's going to be interesting to see him against better competition. I hope he proves well and plays well. So
across the board, though, I mean, Nikai Hill-Green was great again. I think I really think he has the potential to be the star linebacker of this group.
Yeah.
Daxton Hill was awesome. He had 1 tackle, 5 assisted tackle. Stats weren't there, but
still all over.
He was all over the field again.
He's only going to get better.
He's playing more and more cornerback, and I love seeing that because they're using him to his advantage too. And I think that's really the theme with the defense. They're setting these guys up to be successful. And it's easy to say when maybe you play Western and then a bad Washington offense, and you could argue that all day, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but this is not the same group as last year.
Yeah.
This is a confident group who's hitting hard and running fast, and it's a big difference. You juxtapose it to last year, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we got I don't want to say a week off. I don't want to overlook Northern Illinois or anything. I also don't want to break down this game. We don't need to waste anybody's time trying to
throw the ball.
Dick into this. I'm like,
well done.
Dig
we
into
don't need to dick into this any more than we already have.
Yeah. But, I mean, go out there, take care of business, and I think in 2 weeks or so, we'll be able to know exactly what this team, if we can move up their ceiling, if that's fair.
From the Red Wings to Michigan State, we're talking about it. This is State of My Sports.
How are we doing on time, Micah?
Are we doing all right? Where are we sitting?
Yeah, hour 8.
Not bad. And that was still minus 3 minutes from the intro.
That's true.
We can delete that,
nice.
We're doing good. The Spartans took care of business as well against Youngstown State, winning 42-14. This time Peyton Thorne and the wide receivers showed they are more than a ground and pound offense, with Thorne going 15 of 21 for 280 yards and 4 touchdowns. Two of them being a 75 yards touchdown, an 85-yard touchdown to Jaden Reed, who ended up with 181 yards. Naylor and Eli Collins. Jordan Simmons got the majority of the carry. Oh, I don't know what I was going
Elijah Collins.
Yeah, I saw Eli. I don't know if he changed what he wanted to be called Eli now. It doesn't matter because he's hurt. Or is he the one that got hurt? He's not the one that got hurt. Yeah, he is the one that got hurt. Anyways, I don't know where I was at.
Don't call me out on this. He had a receiving touchdown.
Jordan Simmons actually got the majority of the carries with 16 for 121 yards, and Walker had a solid second game with 57 yards on 7 carries. It just felt like Mel Tucker wanted to do it in a different way and show people he could. You know what I mean? And, man, very impressive. First play of the game, again, touchdown, very first play. So the first game was the 75-yard run by Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the flea flicker. I don't know if you guys saw it. And that touchdown to
awesome.
Jaden Reed. I mean, it's
he throws a good ball, man.
he does. And, I mean,
Peyton Thorne is the real deal.
But the offense shined in multiple ways. I thought that was impressive and really great to see heading into a big road test here. Another road test, I should say. I think Northwestern was a road test. This is another big test for them. And I don't want to overestimate Miami or anything like that because they obviously haven't looked great, but they still have all the talent. They're still good. And Michigan State looks like, in my opinion, the better team out of the two. And honestly, they look like the better team in the state, in my opinion. I'm going to say it right here, right now.
They look solid across the board.
They
I don't know if they have a weakness.
We haven't seen it yet.
We haven't.
Which is really cool. So Peyton Thorne, very efficient again, 4 touchdowns, popped the top off a few times, which I think is awesome.
Rushing touchdown too, by the way.
He did have a rushing touchdown?
Yeah.
I didn't write that down.
5 total touchdowns.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself because it was Youngstown State, and I don't think that that's fair to Michigan State. I don't think that's fair to anybody to say, like, this is a crazy good team or anything like that. But they've taken care of business. They have shown they have had 2 tests, and they have passed both of those 2 tests with flying colors. And I'm not the one to judge to say what tests it was that they, you know what I mean? Like, there were the 2 that were put in front of them, and they absolutely dominated. And Peyton Thorne is a big reason why. Great in the first game, even better in the second game. I mean, what do you think of this guy, Ryan?
I think he throws such a clean ball, and I think this is exactly. And this is not taking a shot at Michigan or anything, but I honestly think that this is what Cade McNamara needs to be watching, because Peyton Thorne, the way he throws the ball down the field with confidence, they're scheming him open, yes, with the flea flickers and some of the other things. But you look at that second touchdown pass that he threw to Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed, again, his wide receiver from high school. This is his safety net. He threw over the linebackers in front of the safeties on a just a perfect island right to his wide receiver, who then outran everybody for the touchdown. That shows confidence. There were 3 defenders in the immediate area right there, and he just
wasn't afraid.
He knew where to put it.
Yeah,
and he wasn't afraid. And you see the way he's moving around the pocket. He looks so comfortable. He looks comfortable. He looks athletic. He looks like, again, I go back to the arm, like his arm action and his ability to be free with his arm. Like, he doesn't get locked up ever if he's on the run or anything. Like, he throws a nice, smooth, powerful ball, and I just think he's in his comfort zone right now. He's got a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and the offensive side of the ball has weapons all over the field. I mean, the wide receivers are deep, and you have the high-end guy with Jaden Reed. Jaden
Reed.
Jaden Reed. I always get Jordan and Jaden confused.
Jordan Simmons, Jaden Reed, Jalen Naylor.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot.
They're tough.
There's a lot to go around.
I'm just going to say Reed. I mean, he looks like a true number 1, and the weapons are there, and we know that they can do it in multiple ways. Very, very cool to see. I mean, the O-line looks good. How good? I mean, what kind of talent have they played against? Time will tell. But again, they're looking like a legit contender for the Big Ten, potentially. Maybe not a contender yet, but
they're a dangerous
right
team.
there in that tier 2, right next to Michigan, right next to, Indiana maybe. I don't know if that's fair.
I grouped them with Michigan. I think they're right on the same page with Michigan. If State would have been ranked 25 after this week and Michigan was unranked, I would have understood that. Mm-hmm. Michigan's ranked 25, and I'm actually saying, where's State? Why are they not getting the love that Michigan just got? Like, I honestly think they are neck and neck. They're both showing really good things.
Yeah.
They've done it against some decent opponents and some lesser opponents. So I think across the board, Michigan State has a lot to be proud of, and Peyton Thorne, I think the offensive line looks good because of him, and I will always go back to that. Your quarterback, it's both ways. Your quarterback can make your offensive line look bad, which is what State has done the last 4 years, and this year, not to say that they're playing any better or worse. I think it's just more predictable if you have a guy who can make good decisions and is athletic enough to move around.
So I have written down here that the offensive line is night and day better. You don't necessarily think that it's necessarily the offensive line. You think it's the quarterback that's making that offensive line look that much better?
Twofold. I think, one, if you're predictable, then your offensive line is up against it every single time. As a defensive lineman, you know what you need to do if the other team's predictable. Michigan State has been the most predictable team in the Big Ten the last 4 years with their quarterback, with the run options and all that kind of stuff. It's been garbage to watch, really. It's put their offensive line in a terrible spot time after time. This year, they are an unpredictable offense. They just dominated on the ground and then dominated through the air.
Mm-hmm.
And a quarterback that's athletic enough to get outside the pocket and still dominate down in the air,
Yeah.
So I think right now what you're seeing is defensive linemen don't know what to do. They don't know where to blitz from. They don't know if it's inside pressure, outside pressure, because he's beating him from the pocket. He's beating him outside the pocket. They're beating him on the ground with the delayed handoffs and all that too. Like it's a very well-rounded offense right now.
Yeah, I think if this game was the Michigan State game was this week, I would probably take Michigan State to win this game based on what we've seen so far. Micah, what do you think about Michigan State?
Right now, yeah, if they were to play each other tomorrow, I'd be super worried, and I would probably put my money on Michigan State. It just echo what you guys have already said. I mean, there's nothing else more to say. They've done what they needed to do against the teams that they've played so far, and they've done it in a dominating fashion.
Yeah, the big plays were through the air, obviously, but the running game was just as dominant in this game as it was in game one when it needed to be. Like obviously you didn't get the 234 yards or whatever it was for Walker, but you had another guy. You had Simmons going 121 yards on 16 carries, 7.6 average. Walker 57 yards on 7 carries, 8.1 average. They're averaging almost a first down per touch. The running game is the key, I think. If they can introduce a running game against anybody, they have the arm talent with the quarterback. They have the wide receiving depth and high end talent that they can be in any game that they get faced to. At least on the offensive side. What are you thinking about the defense? Obviously, it's hard to tell after this game against a Youngstown State type team. But like, does anything stand out to you? Do you think the defense will be good enough in those big games?
I think,
or are you in wait and see mode?
I think this is I think it's an underrated defense. I think they have playmakers. They have guys that know how to make big plays, and they're prepped for that moment. And I don't know what it is, but Michigan State's done this in the past. They always seem to have those X factors on the defense that can make the plays when they need the most. And I think, I don't know. I mean, I think Xavier Henderson is that guy for them this year. He looks great. Did you see that interception he had?
Yeah.
Across the middle, the one-handed.
Yeah.
Like, he just snagged the ball. That's the guy. Like, he is that good. And we talked about him. I think he was possibly one of our picks for Dark Horse MVP.
I think he was yours, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, or even Don't Forget About, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we highlighted this guy, and he's come to life. He's really, really good, and he's showing it. And some of their linebackers are just so athletic. They fly around the field. I think they're going to give up points. When they play good offenses, I'm not saying they're a shutdown defense, but what they're going to do is keep themselves – they're not going to lose them the game.
They're a different Spartan team than we are used to seeing.
Oh, yeah.
Over the last 7 to 10 years. Even like the championship teams. Like this team is the offense is going to carry this team. And is the defense going to be good enough? And that's kind of the opposite of what we went through. The defense kind of carried teams, and was the offense going to be good enough? They struck fire with like a Connor Cook and a what was the running back that was solid back then? And like just a couple like there were it worked.
Bell?
Le'Veon Bell, yeah. That's not what I was thinking.
Who?
Is that Kirk Cousins? With
I think that was Kirk Cousins. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. But like, you know what I mean?
This actually reminds me of the Kirk Cousins teams a little bit, with just the high passing ability, with the pro style running back and some playmakers on defense. Maybe it's a little flipped, like maybe more offensive heavy and playmaker heavy on defense.
Okay.
And it was before that. Those days it was more defensive dominant with Kirk Cousins coming alive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those were really good teams for those years. But.
Yeah,
Their defense is nothing to discount.
No.
Yeah, you have to take it seriously. I mean, you do have playmakers, I think you're still waiting on the linebackers to come to fruition. I think their defensive line is solid. It's nothing flashy. Panashuk, though, good player. I think he's probably NFL bound, maybe late round pick. But I don't think you just go into a game with the Spartans and go, we'll take care of their defense, no problem, no issues. No, like you don't overlook that defense.
Mm-hmm. In general, I'm just optimistically cautious with this team. I have nothing bad to say about what we've seen so far, but I also don't want to write any checks to them yet either, because the talent level, we don't know what Northwestern is going to be long term. Youngstown State is Youngstown State. I don't want to get too excited about that game either.
They're the Penguins.
But we're 1 week away from knowing how legit this team could be. And for me, what I've seen, like I already said, I'm putting them in Tier 2 of the Big Ten. And I guess that's as high as they'll go until they play against the Ohio State, Penn State teams.
Can we appreciate where both after last season, where both of these teams and these with Michigan and Michigan State, how we are feeling about them right now? Like, awesome. I don't want to lose track of that.
Yeah, I don't want to lose that either, because it could flip quick.
It can absolutely.
Teams.
But I just think with the instability that came from 2 years ago with Mark D'Antonio, just really just screwing this team
over.
Yeah, and the timing of all that whole thing. Like, at the time we said, wow, what a hire. Like, we did not see this good of a hire coming as head coach in this with the circumstances that were there. And we thought this was time to rebuild the program, and it might take a little while. And I just think he has brought such stability to this program so much faster than I was expecting. And so I'm not saying this Michigan State team is a championship contending team. I just think with the stability and the exposure that they're getting with this team right now and the way that they're playing, just to me, I have all the confidence in the world in this coaching staff and the way that they've been able to bring this program out of absolutely nothing and make them a real accelerated timeline for this within this Big Ten. They're contenders, man. They are a weapon any game they're playing.
Yeah, one thing that I think we got to be cautious on with Michigan State is the transfer portal thing is working this year. They need they have a lot of work to do to start building a consistent brand. It's working this year so far. Now, is it a long-term fix? Probably not with the type of guys that you're bringing in that are more short-term guys. You know what I mean? So I think that's another thing that I want to
winning brings people in.
Yeah, but they also got to recruit those guys. They need people to choose to go to Michigan State, which they're doing a decent job, but nothing too exciting yet.
Michigan State's doing exactly what they need to do. They're winning the state of Michigan. They're not branching out a ton, but they're getting a lot of homegrown recruits, which is really the staple of Michigan State.
Prototypical recruiting.
Yes.
Yep.
I was thinking about this earlier. It's like if we redid the schedule game, I feel like the coin flip games that we had would be wins, and there'd be a couple more coin flip games in there that we originally voted as losses. Because what we've seen so far is it's answered all of our concerns and questions about this team.
Yep.
I do want to get into Miami here. Just a quick little preview about that. We don't want to get too much into the previous game because it was Youngstown State. We wanted to preview this a little bit. The first thing that stuck out to me was Miami. They were ranked 14 to start this year. Lost to Alabama 44-13. Everybody knows that. And then they dropped to 22 overall. They beat App State 25-23 with a late field goal, and then also dropped another 2 spots at number 24. But you're on the road, a ranked game, ranked opponent. I'm not going to try to, if they win this game, say that it's not a big win. This is a big-time opportunity for Mel Tucker, his staff, and this team. I'm really excited to see what they can do. What kind of stands out to you guys in this game heading in?
To me, the feel feels similar to the way I felt this last weekend with Michigan versus Washington. I know that the rank and no rank between Miami and Washington, whatever, but it feels similar to me.
Yeah.
So if Michigan State can really put together a strong win, and I know it's at this point, everything is just win. Just win, of course. But if they do it in a dominating fashion, you got me sold on the Spartans thus far. No questions.
Yeah, I'm in just win.
Great comparison.
Just win, baby mode again. I really am. Couple things that stood out to me with some of the numbers. Obviously, when you play against Alabama, the numbers will be skewed because it's never easy to play against them. But they average 335 yards per game and allow 419 yards per game, which is right around 170th in each category across the country. And then, more importantly, I noticed that they allowed 146 yards per game, 146 yards on the ground against App State. That right there is where I'm like, that's a great opportunity for Michigan State to control this type of game. If they're struggling against a team like App State, and I'll jokes aside what App State is, but man, if they're doing that there, look out for State in this opportunity. They could control the ball and really dominate in a lot of ways.
This is the reason this is a test is because you're now going against similar talent level across from you. They're one-on-one matchups at the line of scrimmage. You're looking at them, and those are big recruits. Those are legit Division I athletes that they're playing up against.
I don't know if saying that it's a level playing field when you're talking about talent-wise and recruit-wise. I would say Miami probably has a much higher. If you're going stars, like I don't have that in front of me of who is highly recruited and stuff, but I would say Miami probably has more talent on paper, more stars. You know
think
what I mean?
Their 14th,
higher recruits.
Their 14th ranking to begin the season
has a lot to do with that.
Absolutely,
so
like that. Yeah,
I get what you were saying, and I just wanted to
it's actually the other way around. They're looking
exactly.
up to those guys, saying, "Okay, you were more highly ranked than me. You had this over me. You had this over me, and I'm going to go show you that
Punching
I'm better
them
than you."
out. Yeah. Yep.
And I think this is the test because I think Northwestern was that to start the year, but Northwestern is also one of those oddball type of teams that
they're Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, they really are. So now this is the first time that they're going against guys who were more highly recruited than them, that are better athletes.
And Sam's right. Miami has the number 11th recruiting class last year.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is a team that they're going to have to earn it. These one-on-one matchups, if they win these and you do something like what you say, dominate on the ground or even through the air, that means that they're winning one-on-one matchups that on paper they shouldn't win.
Mm-hmm.
And that will tell us a lot about this team.
Yeah, I think Michigan State needs to obviously get control of the run because, look, I mean, Miami's offense, it hasn't been great, but they have talent. They have a lot of their king, their quarterback. He's
Derek King.
Yeah, came back to
win Heisman.
Yeah, to do something.
Yeah,
and he hasn't so far. But if you're not careful, this will be the game that he kind of comes out and does that. This is, to me, screams a high-scoring game. I think this will learn a lot about Michigan State's defense here.
And offensive line, too.
And offensive line.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a pro-style defensive line that Miami has, and we're going to learn a lot about the Michigan State offensive line and how they're going to hold up long-term in the Big Ten.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. State of My Sports.
It's our Betting Hero picks of the week. Ryan, can you tell everybody what Betting Hero is, just real quick?
Maybe.
Doesn't have to be too long.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, Betting Hero, man. If you go to bettinghero.com, promo code MIBETS, they will give you all of the promo codes available in the state of Michigan with all the betting platforms online. And that's to your benefit because, again, we keep saying there's plenty of free money out there. Go get the free money. Go get the best promo code available at that time. They change every single week. They're trying to get more people in. So bettinghero.com, promo code MIBETS. Go check them out. It helps us. It's the best way to support this podcast. If you like what you hear, please go out, support us. Promo code MIBETS, bettinghero.com.
Kyle once again dominated in his picks. He went 5-2, which puts him at 10-2 overall.
Oh, is he the best this week?
No.
Oh, okay.
Micah went 5-2 as well with an 8-4 overall. Ryan, you went 6-1, for an 8-4 overall record.
Yeah.
John went 4-3, 5-7. I went 3-4 for a 3-9 overall record.
Wow, you're not doing good.
We're gonna start with the
Wait, hold on. Can we appreciate my last-minute change last week with Ohio State?
Which one was that? Yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
wish I could change mine last minute.
I said, no, wait, hold on. Oregon.
There was another one that you wanted to change and I didn't let you. I don't remember which one.
I would have been
it
7-0.
was. Was it?
Yeah.
I don't feel bad. All right. So we're going to start with Thursday Night Football like we generally do. Giants, they are at the football team's stadium. They are minus 3.5. Since Kyle's gone and John is gone, I will tell you guys their picks. Kyle went with the football team. John went with the Giants. Ryan.
Redskins.
Really?
Micah.
Football team, I mean.
You know what? Give me the Giants, even though their offensive linemen were blocking each other.
I will never bet for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, neither will I, but it's a
You just
backup QB in Washington. What are you doing?
Who is the quarterback in this? For the,
Hinkle or Heinkel?
Yeah,
or
Heineke or whatever his name is.
Heineke?
Heineken?
do they want Goff?
Heineken's
Look at
good,
him.
dude. Heineken is legit. I think he's better than people give him credit for.
All right,
Really?
I am also taking the football team. Moving on to the Chiefs at the Ravens. The Ravens coming off of the loss on Monday Night Football. They are getting +3 at home. Both John and Kyle are taking the Chiefs. Ryan, what about you?
I really, really want to take the Ravens here, but I also will go Chiefs. They were not very impressive, but I think the Browns are better than the Ravens.
Wow. I am not going the Ravens. I'm going the Chiefs.
Yeah.
They just look too good. I don't think the Ravens are going to be able to keep up.
I think the Chiefs did a great job. I picked Cleveland to win that game in my pick'em thing, and they survived it. And yeah, I think that was the scare they needed to be even better moving forward.
You got me for the Chiefs, right? That's what I said.
Yeah, we all said Chiefs.
Okay, got it.
Now we're going to Monday Night Football. We got the Lions at the Green Bay Packers. Last I saw was 10.5 points. How is it 10.5 points when they lost 31-3 or whatever? It's because you're playing against the Lions.
Aaron Rodgers didn't have a third down conversion.
Kyle is taking the Packers. John is taking the Lions. Ryan, what about you?
I got to go with the Lions here. I know the Packers are good. They're not what they showed, but I think Goff is going to go off in the fourth quarter when the game's out of touch.
It's kind of like last week.
Yeah.
Which I said was going to happen. They didn't cover the 7.5. We did 7.5. They got to 8. I was like, they're not going to deserve to cover, but they're going to cover.
That was my loss, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That was my one loss.
Micah, what about you?
Seriously?
I am going to have the Lions cover. I think it's going to be a similar situation to last week. Yep.
I think the Packers are going to kill the Lions.
Uh-oh.
Look, how many young corners are we going to have on the field?
They're going to pick on Jeffrey Okuda not being out there.
They're going to pick on whoever the heck they want to pick on, and it's going to be ugly.
Fichu.
And then Aaron Jones is going to dominate when he wants to.
I don't know.
I think this is going to be ugly.
You're
I
really
do.
making me think I need to pick the Packers here.
I don't want you to pick the Packers.
I picked the Lions.
Offensive line is weird for Green Bay right now.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. 2 rookies.
How should I transition the music? 'Cause it sounds awful when I just turn it off.
Just press that button. Turn it off, and then, yeah.
All right. I don't like the way it sounds though, but
Got it.
maybe I'll learn. Anyways, we got some college football games to pick here. We're starting with Auburn at Penn State. Penn State is a 6-point favorite. Kyle's going Auburn. John is going Penn State. Ryan, what about you? Mike, if you bring it down just a touch. I don't know if it's loud for everybody else, but this is just a louder song, I think.
I'm still not buying Penn State. I'm going to go Auburn here.
Micah?
Same. Auburn.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I don't trust him. I can't stand Penn State. I can't stand James Franklin. I think he's one of the worst good coaches of all time.
So,
His recruiting and
news.
his record speaks for itself, but he's not a good coach. He gets lucky every single time, it seems like, in those big games.
They get such good recruiting classes, and they just never are very good.
You just
It's
Michael
weird.
Scotted yourself. Well done.
I like it. Alabama is at Florida. This game snuck up on me. It wasn't on the original sheet. I added it. 15.5 points. Florida's getting at home. Kyle's taking Bama. John is taking Florida. I think they're divided in almost every game, it seems like, other than the Chiefs game. Ryan?
This is tough. Bama just looks so good, but that's a lot of points to a good Florida team, too. I'm going Alabama.
Micah?
Give me Alabama. Florida just let up 20 points to USF, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going Bama as well. Moving down to our Haze and Blue Crushable New England IPA, featuring Citra and Mosaic hops and brewed with real blueberries. That is one of the best New England IPAs I've ever had, and it's from Big Lake Brewing. So please check out Big Lake Brewing. I got the.
It's awesome, man.
I don't know if you can see that thing on the.
Just put it closer.
There it is. Oh, that looks actually really nice.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah,
Haze and Blue. It's
Haze
really
and
good.
Blue.
Really
Regardless, it's on the screen.
It's there. So Michigan, where are we at with Michigan? They are
27
hosting
point favorites.
Northern Illinois. They are 27-point favorite. Michigan for Kyle and John. Ryan.
Michigan.
They're hosting Mr. Lombardi?
Yes, sir.
Ugh.
I could see this game being a little less competitive if it gets out of hand early. But Michigan.
That's a lot of points. I'm going to be Homer status here and say that Michigan's going to take it. So
Yeah, I'm going to go Michigan as well. I think this is an opportunity for them to throw the ball. I think they're going to try to do what Michigan State did against Youngstown State and throw the ball when they probably shouldn't and just kind of show that they can do it. Show people what they have in their wide receivers and quarterback.
Sure.
So I'm going to go with Michigan. So that brings us to our Sparty Party pick of the week. That is the New England IPA with Mandarina, Bavaria, and Amarillo hops, 7% alcohol by volume, 53 IBUs, another Big Lake classic. What are you guys giggling about over there? Did I say something?
No, you're good now. You're good.
No, you're good. I didn't see you reach under the mic until the delayed video.
Sparty Party, yeah.
Sparty Party. You can see it on screen right there again. I like this. This might be the best thing I've ever done.
Does he know it's on
Holding
screen
these-
without holding it up?
Another great New England IPA.
Another great one. So, Sparty is at Miami. Miami is a 6-point favorite. Kyle's taking MSU. John is taking Miami.
Wow.
Ryan?
It's in Miami. That's what's so hard about this pick for me. I think this is one that I actually might put some real money on
Really?
and go with MSU.
Really?
Sparty for this one. Like I really could see them doing. The problem is with Miami being at home, you just never know. You know, early momentum goes a long way in college football. But I am taking MSU.
Micah?
Give me Sparty. They're too hot right now. They're taking care of the rock really well. They're playing good football, so no reason to bet against them.
Well, I have a reason to bet against them.
Oh.
I think it's going to be a very good game. I could just see them losing by more than a touchdown, so I'm going to take Miami. I don't know why.
Gut feeling?
Just a gut. Yeah.
It's a good.
It's kind of
It's a good
where I'm at
feeling.
for this one. Before we move on from our picks, obviously we talked about our Sparty Party pick, our Haze and Blue pick. The reason why we do that is because Big Lake Brewing is looking to get some of the biggest Michigan and Michigan State fans on the cans of the official beers of college football this season. Sparty Party and Haze and Blue. All you have to do is get decked out in your maize and blue or your green and white. Snap a pic and submit it. Submit your wildest fan photo through their contest platform. It's on their website, on their Facebook. I'm sure it's on their Instagram. You know how Instagram says like link in bio? Where the heck is a bio? I cannot figure that out.
The page and
You
there's
go to
a
their
link.
page. Yeah, they give you a link, and then they have all the videos right there lined up.
Like
for you.
where your name is, it's under there. You can put a link.
Do we have a link in our bio?
Yeah.
We'll
we
drop
do?
a link in our bio. Go
I
check
put
them.
it there.
Really? What's the link to? Our Facebook page?
No, I made
to
this video.
Our
Website?
podcast.
Oh.
I made a
Very
video of
smart.
myself dancing one time.
Yeah?
and there's a link to that.
You put a link in the bio?
Yes. Go check it out.
Nice. So yeah, one winner for Sparty Party and one winner for Haze and Blue will be selected by popular vote. So share your submission with everyone you know to increase your chances of winning. They have, again, on their Instagram bio, Facebook page. I'm sure there's a website as well. So please check that out. It is time to grade our Michigan beers for this episode, but before we do, I want to once again remind everyone of our partner, Siciliano's Market. They are simply the best beer store in West Michigan, located on Lake Michigan Drive, right between Grand Valley State University's main campus and downtown Grand Rapids. Wherever you live in West Michigan, it is worth the short drive for what they have to offer. Whether you know what you want or you need some help from their expert staff, Siciliano's Market is the best place for that. They not only have a massive and up-to-date inventory of the best craft beers from across our great nation, they're individually priced so you can mix and match to build your own six-pack. Along with their great selection of craft beer, they have specialty wines, spirits, ciders, coffee, tea, tobacco, and cigars. They also have the largest selection of homebrew and winemaking supplies in West Michigan. We love that Siciliano's Market is part of the State of My Sports family and is who we visit to help us choose our Michigan beers for each and every episode. So please check them out and let them know that we sent you. Hello. All right, it is on. I couldn't remember which way was on, which way was off. Ryan, can you remind everybody what we're drinking?
Yeah, we're drinking James Street Brown Ale. Maybe just called Brown Ale. I don't know. But James Street Brown Ale from Ludington Bay Brewing Company. This is smooth, dark American brown ale with a lacy tan head that is lighter tasting than it looks, which is a great description because this is such an easy to drink 5.2% alcohol by volume. Are we at the grade point? At the point of this whole thing, we're doing grades. You're just writing stuff down, so I'm trying to extend here.
You want to reword that sentence one more time?
Oh, did I mess it up? Did it sound bad? Yeah, so we're drinking James
Street Brown Ale. You're good.
I'm just gonna let him go.
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying this.
I could just fill empty air.
He sounds like he was having fun. He was drinking.
Wait,
really
I have
well.
something to say. Hold on.
All right,
no,
so
that
they
doesn't
said
work. Sam doesn't like that. Let me go. Hold on, I got something to say. All right, so I think this. Wait, were you gonna do a description of this?
No, I was just gonna talk a little bit about it.
Oh, okay. Why don't you do that?
All right,
it's probably better than my thing.
So Brian, who works for Ludington Bay and helped us get this beer, he said, if there is a sessionable brown, this is it. It's light body but dark roasted malt characteristics to complement the changing of the seasons and the darkness of my heart after a Husky loss.
Ooh.
Go Blue.
I honestly was going to say sessionable.
Were you really?
Yeah, it's so cool that he said that. Yeah.
I should have let you do it.
That full of it.
No, that was literally what I was going to say. But before that, I was going to just get on my high horse and talk about Michigan craft breweries.
Okay, what does sessionable mean then?
Sessionable? Like you could just go through one after another.
Yeah.
Like you just keep coming back for more.
Crushable?
Easy to drink.
Yeah,
Crushable is another.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool.
I mean, that's what session beers are, though. It's like easy to drink, come back for more.
Excellent.
So yeah, we're grading now, right?
Yeah.
What would you give it for the grade?
I was gonna get into my whole spiel here. So
more.
I just think so. What this podcast has really done for me with the beer scene in Michigan has just exposed me to all of the awesome breweries that there really are in the state of Michigan. And Ludington Bay is one of those, and I think they're so underrated. And I don't know if they're underrated or not, but to me, I haven't had a bad beer from them. And this is exactly what I expected from them with this brown ale. It's so easy to drink. You just come back for more. This is like a perfect beer to be drinking while doing this podcast. It's perfect. Especially
this is going to be like one of my new fall beers for sure.
Yeah.
It's easy to drink, which I love. I love when it's easy to drink, and it's not like
the flavor's there. It's like a full flavor, but it goes down so smooth.
Yeah. So what kind of grade would you guys give this?
Waiting on you.
You want me to go first?
Do it.
Yeah.
I think this is a very, very good brown, and I'm going to go with an 8.3.
Well, fall time's brown time.
I love it.
What they always say.
Hashtag brown time. Or no? It
so
sounds racist.
Let's just.
I want to say.
That's good.
I want to say Ryan for last because it sounds like he's having a good time over there, and I'm going to give him a minute to think about his grade. This is a good beer. Everything that Ryan said, I completely agree with. The flavor's great. The beer is well balanced. I love the way it tastes. It's very smooth, exactly like the can says, and it is going to be a staple at my household this fall. I mean, I've had a few browns I tend to go to the store and buy come fall time, and this is definitely going to be in the roundup. So I'm going to go with an 8.3.
Wow, that's a great score.
What did you give it?
8.3.
Can I change it? I wasn't paying attention to you.
No, you spat out your score.
Okay.
That's what
All right.
you do.
Spat it.
8.3.
You spat it out.
I think this all comes down to
Spatted
Lloyd
in
Carr
it.
in the end. Like I just
Did you have a couple glasses of wine
2006
before you came
Lloyd Carr.
I disagree with
You,
You.
Ryan.
Oh, okay. No, this is really good for all the reasons we've already said. So I'm going to give it a. I was actually going to think about doing an 8.3, but I think it's better than that. I'm going to go 8.4.
Those are really good scores. They are, and I think Ryan, you hit it on the head with the way Ludington Bay they make all their beer very, very well. No, they're all easy to drink, but they're all like perfect for what you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So like if you like a stout, they'll make a good stout. You like a brown, they'll make a good brown. You make the Tangelo Dream, they'll make that dreamy.
There's
They
so
do
many
a great job.
There are so many talented brewers in the state of Michigan. So I just taking advantage of all these guys, like it's worth taking advantage of, and Ludington Bay is no different.
We should visit.
Yeah, we're actually. I'm supposed to talk to you guys about that off air. We got a date that we're.
Should we
we're
talk
ready
about
to
this right
commit
now? Hold
about.
on, let me grab my calendar.
No, we'll talk about it off air because you guys
Okay.
will ruin it, and then we don't want our listeners to think that we're there the
Cue the
wrong
music.
week like we always do, you know. But that was episode 122. We got to talk about 3 of our football teams. Got to drink some great beer from Ludington Bay. We appreciate you guys watching live. We appreciate you guys listening. Thank you guys for recording as always. We'll talk to you next week, if not sooner.
You've been listening to State of My Sports. From the Red Wings to the Lions, to the Tigers to the Pistons, to Michigan and Michigan State, and everything in between, we're talking about it. And don't forget the beer. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. In the meantime, hook up with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at State of My Sports with an MI. We'll see you next time.